Welcome to the Kim Commando Today podcast. This is a replay from earlier this year.
Hey, it's Kim Commando Today, your daily podcast to keep you up to date with all things digital and beyond. And I'd love to have you be a part of our podcast. You can make an appointment to speak with me. Just head over to commando.com, and on the top right, there's a button that says Email Kim. Fill that out, and that's it. All right, I always like to start with something interesting. And I don't know if you know this, but Waymo is Google's self-driving car division. And they've been doing a lot of testing and driving around Phoenix. It's not uncommon to see the cars. I've seen them many times. They're loaded with cameras. And the car makes kind of like this Jetson futuristic noise as it goes down the streets, kind of like when a Tesla backups. Well, now you can hail a Waymo self-driving taxi to and from Sky Harbor Airport here in Phoenix, Arizona. So to book a ride, you just download the Waymo app, and then you have to join what they're calling the Trusted Tester Program. That's right, you're trusted. Okay, I guess you're trusted, right? Well, you have to trust that this self-driving taxi doesn't become one of those self-driving crashing cars, because after all, remember, with these Waymo cars, no drivers are installed. Ooh, yes. Hey, welcome to the nation's largest, most trusted show about all things digital. It's called The Kim Commando Show because, after all, I'm America's beloved digital goddess here with you once again. And if you're a new listener, we're so glad that you're here. If you listen to us all the time, welcome back. And you can find the show on over 425 top stations across the United States. And we're streaming in your favorite radio app. Just search for my last name, Commando. And you can also get us as a podcast, as a webcast, and use our interactive chat and our message boards, a whole bunch more. It's a lot of fun over at the Commando community. And you can learn more over at getkim.com. And, of course, we have discounts for seniors, service personnel, teachers, active military, and vets. And a special shout-out goes to all of our listeners on the American Forces Network Radio, serving more than 375,000 American servicemen and women in the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marine Corps, Coast Guard, and Space Force in 175 different countries. And if you're just too shy to come on a big-time show, hey, I get that. You can drop me your question over at the website. That's commando.com. And in the upper right-hand corner, there's a link that says Email Kim. And I'd like to thank Simply Safe for helping to make this show possible. All right, every single day, I check out 30 different websites to make sure that you all are up to date on all things digital. And this is part of the show where I like to talk about the apps and the programs, the products, things that are coming soon. And we're going to start with Venmo. And if you're doing a little two-timing on the side, I don't think you want to use Venmo to pay for your dates. See, your friends and family can see how you're spending your money, and sometimes even what you spent it on. And get this, a new study, 2 in 5 people who use Venmo share sensitive information on the app. Here's a real-life example. This guy, Mark, he was scrolling through his newsfeed, and he saw that one of his buddies was sending money to a lady he didn't recognize. So Mark starts looking through all his friends' transactions. Okay, nice friend. He figures out that his buddy was cheating on his love interest. So Venmo is half peer-to-peer payment app, half social media. So the Venmo app itself has a news feed showing payments and messages between users, unless it's in private mode. So while you think of Venmo payment as just like splitting a check at a restaurant, not so much. It can be out there for everybody to see. And speaking of, by the way, if you go to Rome, the Vatican, you have to remember, the Vatican does not accept Venmo. They only take PayPal. Get it? PayPal, Vatican. Yes, I know you laughed. Next on our list, number 2, why? I just don't know why. You can't ship live animals on eBay or Etsy. That's a good thing. But what you can buy, which I don't understand, are dead animals. You can get ducks, rabbits, bobcats, mice, moose. Guess what? Bats. Dead bats are big sellers. More than 500 dead bat listings ran on Etsy and 71 on eBay in the last month. Apparently, people want them as presents. They make garter belts out of them. Duck, barrettes. Some people just like to display them on shelves. But scientists are disturbed by this dead bat trend. Some of them, when popping up online, are endangered, hard to find in nature. So one is the painted woolly bat, which is usually found in Southeast Asia. Of course it is. Vivid orange, black, attracts hunters and buyers. But here's the thing. They only have one offspring between an adult male and a female, so they can't be mass collected by hunters. And most of the people selling these items online are Americans. The whole idea is just batty. Number 3, you better up your game right now. Google is not wanting to be left in the AI dust. So this past week, they announced something that they're called the Magic Wand. Ooh, I want a Magic Wand too. And it's a system for email collaboration and cloud software. And so gone are the days of spending hours and hours creating marketing blogs, training plans, other documents. With Google's Magic Wand, you create all these things in no time. You can even summarize message threads, create slide presentations, take meeting notes. AI is going to be doing everything. So if you want to write a quick post or article, you just type in the topic, and guess what? Magic Wand generates the draft for you. And I'm telling you, it's only a matter of time before AI gets so good that workers will not be required with these sets of skills. So meanwhile, Microsoft is like, hey, what about us? They have a new AI co-pilot for Microsoft's 365 that includes Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and Outlook. Makes you all wonder, doesn't it? Like, what are we going to really need to do in the workforce 20 years from now? What is that truly going to look like? All right, number 4 on our list, a new way to make money online. Speaking of AI, what about fact checkers? That's right, they're going to become more important, not just because of fake news, but because of AI. So this is an actual skill set that people want right now, companies, and that you might want to look at. Now, first, you have to learn how to spot, say, fake news, fake facts, and dig for sources. And then if you're over on LinkedIn, you can start searching for remote fact-checking gigs and apply. Now, you're going to be amazed at about how many different opportunities are out there, especially with all these AI writers popping up left and right, ChatGPT, other tools that need fact-checking. So in case you're looking for a side gig and you're really good at research, this might be the one for you. Speaking of, Facebook has got a new fake news filter. That's right. All I want to know is when they're going to get their real one. That's what I want. And last of this, coming in at number 5, oh, you sneaky, sneaky Samsung. What have you done to us? So I don't know if you've seen all these stunning photos of the moon that are going viral online and taken with Samsung phones. And maybe because you saw all these moon photos, you're like, wow, I need to buy a Samsung phone. Well, a Redditor intentionally took a picture of a blurry moon with his Samsung phone. And when he took the picture, he was like, okay, it's a blurry moon. But when he looks at the photo on his phone, oh my gosh, it's crystal clear. It has all these details that aren't even in the moon, but it's right there on his phone. He's looking on his phone. He's like, puts on his glasses. No, moon blurry. No, moon looks great on my phone. What's going on? Now, Samsung says, we are only using artificial intelligence to enhance the details of the moon. Okay, Samsung's process doesn't just improve the sharpness of blurry details. It also adds more artifacts. It adds more details altogether. And it's kind of like where we're drawing the line between like real and fake photography, isn't it? So if you see those moon images and your moon doesn't look like the Samsung moon, that could be the reason why. And I'll tell you, I'm currently obsessed with the moon, obsessed with the moon, although I think it's just a phase. All right, coming up, I got a great tip. You're going to love this. How you can get real college credits on YouTube. Yes, real ones. We have our trivia question of the week that I'm telling you, it's a little bit tough, and it has to do with Facebook and when they got started. In our money tip, we have some things that if you buy on Amazon that you're just not going to be able to return them. And then later on, how to tell if there's a hidden GPS tracker in your car. And of course, we have all of your phone calls on the Kim Komando Today podcast. Hey, our T-Mobile Unlimited listener line is now open at 1-888-825-5254 is the way to join us. And coming up, we're going to talk about how you can get real college credits on YouTube. And how about we start with Phil in Kansas City, Kansas. Hello there, Phil.
Hello, Kim. How are you today?
I'm terrific. What's going on?
Well, it was a question concerning what I've seen as an advertisement as my wife and I have moved forward in streaming as opposed to cable and trying to keep up, for example, of what are we using, what are we canceling, whatever the case may be within the various different whatever types of streaming that we may be doing from whatever program it may be. So we happen to be and have been with Rocket Mortgage for a long time. I've suddenly seen, maybe it's been there for a while, but Rocket Money. And one of the things that they do is canceling one, literally, at least as advertised, canceling subscriptions, other things about spending, net worth, so on and so forth. So I was calling to see what you thought about the program. How good is it? Are there other programs that are just as valid?
Well, here's the deal, is that you're not uncommon, and I have fallen victim to it myself, is that you just signing up for streaming service after streaming service after streaming service.
Yes.
And it's like, oh, well, we have to watch 1883, and that's only on Paramount Plus. But what about The Handmaid's Tale? We have to see that on Hulu along with Entourage. But what about Yellowstone? I mean, it's like, okay, here we go. Then we want to watch The Crown, and we got to get the service. It does get overwhelming. And one of the things, just before we talk about Rocket Money, is that you might want to check out is there's a couple of websites. One's called Just Watch, and the other one's called Real Good. And you can create free accounts at either one, and where you list the shows that you're watching that are streaming, and then it tells you which service that it's on, when it's going to appear, when new episodes will drop, so you can cancel and then re-up the next time, whatever the series is that you want to take a look at. Okay, so let's move to Rocket Money. That it used to be called True Bill, and I was skeptical myself. Like, how can this really work, right? I mean, just kind of sounds a little too good to be true. I'm going to download an app, and it's going to help me get rid of subscriptions that I'm no longer using. So
right.
Rocket Money came to me about 6 weeks ago, and they said, we'd like to advertise on the show. And I said, yeah, well, first you got to prove your worth, right? So I installed Rocket Money, Phil, and I was very, very skeptical. I mean, how come I can't do what they're doing? And why do I want to tie my checking and my credit card accounts to this service? And what kind of encryption are they going to do? So I checked out all the encryption because it's kind of scary because you're giving them your banking password and your credit card password. But the encryption is very, very stringent. That scans all your bills, your incoming payments. And then I hit the big magical button and they said, show me my subscriptions. Okay. I had no idea, Phil, that I was paying $9.99 a month for Paramount Plus Premium. I had no idea I was paying $15.99 a month for HBO Max. I was paying AAA $145 a year for some reason. I have no idea why. Okay.
Yeah.
And then all totaled, I just got rid of those, and it totaled up to about $450, about $456.76, which that is substantial that's a lot of money. And then I started looking at the other things. But what I also liked is that it shows our electric bill had gone up very high, which alerted me to that the solar wasn't working the way that it should. And the app was not alerting me that it wasn't working. So in answer to your question, I think it's a great app. I really do. Your gas bills, your credit cards, you see money that's coming in, money that's leaving. It is safe. It's secure. It uses bank level encryption. And by the way, it's only read-only access to all your accounts. And it was just really fascinating to me to go through and see exactly what we're paying for, because I had thought that I had canceled that, especially the HBO Max, because that's $16 a month. But at the end of the day, I wasn't. Can I say, yeah, I'm too busy. I work 60 hours a week, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, okay, those are all excuses. I just need to be paying more attention. And this helped me pay attention. And it does help me pay attention. Now, they will go in and try to renegotiate, which I haven't done this yet. They'll go in and try to renegotiate your cable bill too, and your internet bill, whatever it may be. And then they take a percentage of the savings, which, you know what? I'm okay with that, because if they're going to do all the work, they're going to save me money. So in case you want to check it out, go to rocketmoney.com/Kim. That's rocketmoney.com/Kim. Or you can use promo code Kim when you download it. That's rocketmoney.com/Kim. Hey, Phil, thanks so much for your call. And after you install it, let me know how much money you've saved. Now, keep in mind, many subscription services will send you renewal reminders via email or push notifications. You can set up alerts in your calendar or your reminder app. But I also want you to be sure that you check your Apple or Google Play subscriptions too and look really, really carefully. I have to tell you, at the beginning of the year, I was going to try this intermittent fasting app, and I tried it for like a month. I'm like, this is dumb. I'm not going to do this. And so I go over to my Apple subscriptions to remove it. Guess what it called itself? Prime Delivery. It's an intermittent fasting app. I totally narked on them over to Apple, by the way, trying to get people to think it's Amazon Prime. Sneaky, sneaky people. All right, here's the deal. YouTube and Arizona State University, they teamed up to give you a taste of college without breaking the bank, and you get real credits. You can take 4 courses: human communication, rhetoric and composition, real-world college math. Sounds like fun. Or history. You get the option to get credit for these courses. You pay $25 per class. And the really great part is you can retake the classes as many times as you want to get the grade you're after. All developed by Arizona State University, so it's totally legit. Again, those classes are over on YouTube. We got more info about it on the website at commando.com. And coming up, we have our trivia question of the week and some things you shouldn't buy on Amazon. And of course, we have more of your phone calls on the Kim Commando Today podcast. It's time for what I like to call Commanding the Tech World Trivia, and our very special guest contestant joining us this week to win a really great prize. I'm talking about people who will stop me in the street saying, Kim, how do I get an official Kim Commando Show fanny pack? And I'm like, dude, I'm sorry. You can only get it if you play Commanding the Tech World Trivia. And joining us this week is Jody in Indianapolis, Indiana. Hello there, Jody.
Hi, Kim.
So what do you do there in Indianapolis?
Well, I was a nurse for 20 years, and I'm retired, and now I work at my husband's construction company.
Awesome. Well, that's great. So you know about Facebook. Do you have a Facebook account?
I do, yes.
Okay. And so our trivia question today is about Facebook. And Facebook launched in 2004. And at that time, Jody, it was only available to Harvard University students and then expanded to other universities and high schools. And eventually everybody in the globe got a Facebook account. And by the end of 2004, they had about 1 million registered users, which was really big for just a year being in business. So we're going to go back. We're going to go back to 2004, and you were a nurse then. And we're going to talk about features that Facebook had when it launched that it no longer has today. So you have to decide which one of the 4 is not true. Again, this is Facebook 1.0, and these are 4 features that Facebook had in 2004. Now, one of them is not true. Okay.
Okay.
So the first one is something called poke. So when it first launched, you could poke somebody to get their attention. So a message would pop up and say, Kim poked you. Okay. That was one feature. The next feature was a wall. In the early days of Facebook, each person had a wall that other people could post messages and comments on, and now it's called your timeline. 3, they had news feed filters. So this way you could say, I only want to see news from these sources or from these specific people. Or was it dating, that you could create a separate dating profile and then connect with matches through shared interest in events? So which one of these 4 features were not part of the first version of Facebook? Was it the poking feature, so you can get somebody's attention, the wall that you could post messages or comments, filters so you could only see from certain people or certain news sources, or did they have a dating app? So which one is not true?
I would probably have to go with the filters and think, since everybody's tracking everybody nowadays, that has come about after the fact. So I'm going to go with the third one.
All right. So Jody's going with the news filters, the feed filters. She's saying that those were not a part of the first version of Facebook. And what do our judges say?
Oh, no.
Womp, womp. They did have the filters. They got rid of them. They got rid of them. You were kind of on the right track. They got rid of the filters because of all the tracking. I mean, they said, oh, no, we want to be able to show everybody anything that we want them to see, not just what they want to see. Okay. The dating was not there. It actually started in May of 2018. They said that they would start beating out the likes of Tinder and so on, but it never really took off. A lot of people
No.
have simply forgotten that Facebook has a dating option. Right now, they have about 300,000 registered users for the dating option in New York City. Okay, that's a big town, right?
Yes.
Bumble has over 3 million users. So you can see that the Facebook dating is just not taking off.
No.
All right.
No.
Well, thanks for playing along. And I know you have a question for me. And how can I lend a hand?
Yes. So as I mentioned before, I'm a retired nurse. I started my nursing career when it was pen and paper, and we slowly moved into technology, and that's the only technology I've learned. Now that I'm with my husband's construction company, he wants to go a little more tech by scanning in research, receipts, maybe QuickBook Pro, sending me notes electronically. And I just really don't want to go back to school for a technology degree. Is there other places that I can learn how to just do what we're doing in our business?
Well, yeah, just have somebody kind of walk you through some of the steps. Let me tell you what the best case scenario would be. If you could do it, Jody, is if you could have somebody come over to your business and you show them everything that you want to do, and then they kind of walk you through by hand how to do that. And how you would find that person is by contacting a local college or university there in Indy and ask if they have in their computer information systems department somebody who is available to do that. And they normally charge anywhere between $20 and $25 an hour. The reason why is because then you get that one-on-one support and that lesson, and then you can also record it. Now, that said, if that's not available, just know that Microsoft Office, if you go over onto their website, they have free online courses for Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and Outlook. Quicken has some online training courses too. Now, of course, you can find anything and anything on YouTube, right? As far as anytime you want to get some done. Now, there are some online courses, some places where you can go, and the learning will cover Office and Quicken and maybe even get you from a beginner to advanced if you don't want to have somebody come over to your place. The couple of places that I recommend is called Coursera, and another one's called Udemy, like Udemy, and also there's LinkedIn Learning. And so what's nice is that you can look at some of these classes online and you can say, I kind of like the way that they teach, or I don't like the way that they teach. But there's a ton of resources online, but sometimes it's just easier. You know what I'm talking about? Like, think about going back to be like, if you watch somebody try to find a vein, right? On a video versus you actually somebody saying, okay, we're going to put it here, the tourniquet here, we're going to, tap onto the vein, we're going to try to get it up. And if that doesn't work, we're going to get an ultrasound. So, think about how you approached nursing that was very hands-on. And that's the same thing really with technology, is that hands-on, it's really great if you can get it. But if you can't, because of time, because of where you're located, whatever it may be, just know that Microsoft Office has some free classes, so does Quicken. And then, of course, you can find classes all over YouTube. And those sites that I mentioned once again was Coursera, Udemy, and also LinkedIn Learning. Jody, thanks for playing our trivia question. If you need any help whatsoever, just know I'm always here for you. All right. We came up with this money tip idea in an editorial meeting the other day because we started thinking about, Amazon returns. Just about anything that you buy on Amazon, I was saying that, you're just so easy to just return it. You just go to orders and you say return and replace. You fill out the form and then you just bop it in the mail. And everybody's like, no. There are things that you can never return to Amazon if you buy them. And I'm like, wow. I'm not sure I ever really thought about that, which, by the way, when it comes to Amazon returns, you can also return things into the Amazon Hub lockers, UPS stores, USPS, Kohl's, Whole Foods, and some states or towns also have physical Amazon stores. And by the way, I will tell you, if you do take something back to a physical store, make sure that you get a receipt. I'm always in a hurry. I'm telling you that right now. So I had 2 pairs of jeans that I was returning back to a UPS store. And I was in a hurry. I'm like, no, I don't need a receipt. And the gal looked at the jeans. She's like, wow, these are really great jeans. You don't want them? I'm like, no, I just didn't like the way that they fit. They were too big on me. And then it took me like 6 weeks and a lot of pounding to make sure that I got that credit. So word to the wise, always get that receipt. So as a ground rule, Amazon generally gives you 30 days to return an item. But here are more specifics. Your devices, your laptops, your desktop, your Kindles cannot be returned more than 30 days after delivery. You cannot return digital items. I'm talking about downloadable software products, open software, online subscriptions after you've accessed them. You can't return gift cards, except as required by law, and those prepaid game cards, such as those as Xbox 360 Live or Wii Points. Now, you can't return hazardous materials. I didn't know they sold those, but flammable liquids or gases. And non-returnable items that arrive damaged or defective are eligible for a refund or replacement. So what exactly can you not return? Some jewelry orders, grocery products, any product missing the serial number or the UPC, live insects. Okay. I had no idea that you can buy live insects on Amazon, but now you know. Let's see, some health and personal care items, customized products. And if this does happen and you want to return it, what you want to do is reach out to the seller and say, my live insects didn't return. I guess I can't return those, but they arrived dead. I need to send them back. Oh, live insects. Anyway, it goes with that baddie story that we did at the beginning of the hour. I don't know what happened to this hour of the show. Anyway, in case you want to check out the whole list and learn more, head over to the website. That's Komando.com. And once you're there, hit the link that says Kim's Show. All right, letter from our listener mail. How you can tell there's a hidden GPS tracker in your car. How can you tell? Well, that answer is still to come, as well as more of your phone calls on the Kim Komando Today podcast. All right, just a quick reminder that you can get our podcast wherever you get your podcasts. Make sure that you sign up for our daily tech update. That's just 2 minutes a day. One, you get the top news story of the day, and then you also get a tech life hack that you're going to use time and time again. These are just fabulous, in my humble opinion. Of course, I know. I produce them. I write them. I think you're going to love them, and I know you will. So just search for Komando with a K wherever you get your podcasts. All right, back to the phones we go with Brady in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Hello there, Brady.
Hello, Digital Goddess. How are you today?
I am great. How can I lend a hand?
Well, love listening to your show. I've been listening for a long time, and now it's finally come to the time for to wonder whether I should be replacing the battery in my phone because it's discharging fairly quick, or if, since it's an iPhone 10, is it just time to retire it and move on? Is Apple going to support it that much longer in the future?
It's always that question, isn't it? Do I pay to fix it? Is it worth fixing? Should I just go buy a new one? And it seems to be like anything that we have in tech comes under those categories at some point. The iPhone that you have was released in 2017, which generally means that Apple is going to stop assigning any type of updates, firmware updates, probably this year. Okay, so it's not going to receive any more software updates, which means that you need to get a new phone. And I know a lot of people are like, Apple does this on purpose. It's planned obsolescence and blah, blah, blah. Well, you know what? It's just the way it is. And I wish it was different because, like, for example, I have a 1946 Chevy pickup truck. And I love that truck, okay? But it just doesn't work that way in technology. What is the percentage of the battery?
It only gets 86% of the full charge now.
Typically, you're almost on the borderline. It's about 80% is when we say, all right, it's time to replace the battery. And replacing the battery can cost anywhere from, say, $15 to $100. And the phone's battery is designed to retain at least 80% of the original capacity after 500 complete charge cycles. So the question is, because the battery is acting up, because it's no longer in warranty, I'm sure it's not, unless you have Apple Care Plus, they may replace the battery, but still the phone is going to be replaced. So it may be time for you to, spend money and get a new phone, because, it's kind of like not what we want to do. The latest iPhone models are anything from, say, $400, which is a 2020 version of the iPhone SE, to the iPhone 14 Pro Max, which is, $1,600. So it really depends on what you want to do, but just know that the phone that you have right now, it's not going to last much longer simply because it's going out of date. And that's just the way it is. If you need some more information about which iPhone to buy, we have some handy-dandy charts over on the website. Just hit commando.com. And Brady, thank you so much for your call today. I do appreciate you getting through. All right, let's talk about some general rules about your iPhone's battery. You want to keep it anywhere between 20% and 80% for the best battery lifespan. So if you let your battery drain to zero, it's going to cause stress on the battery. And what that means, it reduces the battery's overall lifespan. And similarly, the same way that if you keep your iPhone plugged in all the time, this can cause overcharging, which, can also damage the battery over time. So it's best to charge your iPhone before the battery level drops too low, ideally before it reaches 20%. And then once it reaches 80%, you can unplug it so this way it doesn't overcharge. So it's also a good idea to avoid, putting your iPhone into like excessive heat or excessive cold too. Hey, I just wanted to let you know that over the next few weeks, that if you're getting the official Kim Komando Show newsletters, that things are changing. We're mixing it up. We're getting with the times. And so what that means is that, over 400,000 people trust us to get their news via our email newsletters, our tech news tips, tricks, and secrets, and security alerts. And as I said, we're kind of mixing it up. The design's going to be different. Less ads, more meat. You're just going to love them. And so if you are getting our newsletters, just know that it's going to be looking a little bit differently over the next couple of weeks. And then we always want to get your feedback, and we have ways for you to let us know how we're doing with it. And if you are not getting our newsletters, now is a perfect time for you to sign up. Head over to commando.com/subscribe. That's commando.com/subscribe. All right, letter from our listener mail. Gal wants to know if maybe her ex put a hidden GPS tracker in her car, and what are some signs that they may be there. Okay, number one, unusual noises. You might hear some beeping, buzzing, clicking, humming. It could indicate that a tracker is transmitting data or receiving a signal. Maybe you start seeing some wires that look out of place. These could be maybe a battery-powered tracker that's hidden under the hood, behind the dashboard, inside the glove box. You may also see some magnets or metal objects that are stuck to the car's exterior. Now, these could be used for maybe one of those Apple AirTags or trial trackers. They like to put them on the underside of the car, like near the wheel wells, the bumper, or the exhaust pipe, also inside the trunk. Now, you may experience a sudden drop in your car's battery life or performance. This could mean that maybe a tracker is drawing power from it and causing it to drain faster. Now, if you're on iPhone, they're going to alert you if somebody puts an AirTag. If you're on Android with these AirTags, I want you to make sure that you get the third-party app called AirGuard. We have more information over the website, where you can always find me 24/7 at KOMANDO.com.
This program is a copyrighted production of Westar Multimedia Entertainment and protected by the copyright laws. Any rebroadcast or use of this program for commercial, business, economic, or financial purposes without the written permission of Westar Multimedia Entertainment is strictly prohibited.